close my eyes, say something.
I think it's very interesting that you're listening with the bad ear, with nothing in the good ear. And you're hearing it.
I think it's very interesting that, yeah.
Yeah.
I can understand you.
I know. It's amazing.
Today was the big day. All of the assessment, decision-making, research, surgery, and anticipation is all finally behind me. I'm now officially an activated cochlear implant user. Here, check it out. But am I a rock star? Well, hi, I'm Vince, and I'm kind of exhausted, to be honest. I didn't sleep well last night. I slept like a baby the night before my cochlear implant surgery, but the anticipation of activation was a whole nother animal. If you know anything about cochlear implantation, you've probably heard that everyone's journey is different and outcomes vary widely, and nobody can say if you'll be someone who struggles or someone who was hugely successful at your activation. For some reason, these successful activations have become known as rock star activations, and I really don't know why they're called that, since rock stars are, usually pretty deaf. Anyway, I went into this with this mantra: hope for the best, expect the worst, and take what you get. So did I have a rock star activation?
So when we first turn it on, I don't know what you're going to tell me.
Right.
You might say, oh, it's really, really soft. You might say, oh, no, it's pretty comfortable. It's possible you might say it's a little loud.
Okay.
I don't think it will be too loud because I've turned it down like 12 steps from where you were.
And what are you going to, a voice is going to come through it?
So, yeah, I'm going to turn the microphones on for, well, I'm going to let her talk first.
Do you want me to take this out?
Yep, go ahead and take that out.
I'm unmasked. Okay. Wow, I feel pretty deaf.
And then you're just going to tell us what you think.
Okay.
Okay?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Do I sound really good?
No. It sounds really high and squeaky, like my voice does too. It sounds at a really high monotone pitch, at like it's going through like a tube, kind of that.
Interesting.
How's the volume?
Very comfortable. It's not.
Can you show me where,
Oh,
where we're at?
I'd say it's comfortable but soft.
Okay, okay. I'm going to turn it up a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So that's up a little bit.
Uh-huh.
How's that volume now?
That's pretty comfortable.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Do you feel like we're at 6 or 5?
I think that's 6.
6, okay. We're going to leave it here for just a few minutes.
Okay.
One thing that's going to happen is that your nerve is going to adapt quickly at first.
Uh-huh.
So what sounds on the edge of loud right now, in a few minutes, you might say it's starting to sound soft again.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
What's the quality sound like to you? What does that implant sound like?
Really monotone high pitch is what I hear.
Okay.
And a bit like I've heard, like I've read described, kind of metallic in a way, but it's kind of monotone.
Okay.
But that said, I'm close my eyes, say something.
I think it's very interesting that you're listening with the bad ear, with nothing in the good ear. And you're hearing it.
I think it's very interesting that, yeah.
Yeah.
I can understand you.
I know. It's amazing.
Even when I exhale, it sounds like that.
Yeah. You're getting some of those higher pitches in there. So getting those higher pitches from the implant, already marrying with the low pitches you naturally hear in your good ear.
Yeah.
To kind of, your brain is
Starting
trying to
build
figure
them
out
together.
how
Yeah.
do I put those pieces together.
Yeah. My mantra ever since surgery is I'm a bad patient because I'm really impatient. And I feel like this doesn't even really get started until I figure out if I can get some low frequency amplification on this side and get the you know what I mean? I just feel like my brain will have more to work with. But in a weird sort of way, I feel like just in a couple minutes, I'm already like, oh, okay, that's what this sounds like.
Yeah.
Not exactly a rock star activation. Maybe a AC/DC tribute band playing at the reservation casino up the freeway activation. I'll take it. So my current experience about 4 hours after being activated is that I can make out speech. It's not easy and it doesn't sound good, like at all, but I would call anything better than indecipherable noises a win at this point. If it isn't any better by 6 hours post-activation, I'm going to be pretty disappointed. As you may recall, I need to work on my patience. My initial impressions, everything is currently high in pitch and somewhat monotone. It's like sounds that I know are lower in pitch are being forced into the same high band as everything else. That said, the sound of my own voice and speech in general is already starting to assimilate a bit into normalcy. And that's just 4 hours. So I have to be honest, if I didn't watch videos like this and read forum posts and blogs, I may not have expected this, and I'd be pretty upset right now. My world sounded subjectively better when I woke up this morning with only one working ear aided by a hearing aid than it does right now. However, I expected as much. I'm ready to let my brain do the work and start to bring it all together. I've had friends and family wishing me well on my big day. Some of them may think that today is the day that I can hear again. But actually, the way I see it, I've just arrived at base camp, and tomorrow I start climbing the big mountain. But already I have had a couple of aha moments. For one, I could immediately hear sibilants, those sounds that even with my hearing aids were pretty much gone. With my crappy old aid on one side and my now active CI on the other, I could pretty clearly understand my wife talking at the clinic, even with a mask on, and even in the car on the way home. I put on some music in the car. I played Shower of the People by James Taylor because I'd listened to it recently and I noticed that I couldn't hear 4 notes played on a glockenspiel that I knew from memory should be there, right where the verse is stepping into the chorus. For instance, on the words, if it feels nice, don't think twice. And there's those 4 glockenspiel notes that I couldn't hear. At this point, so close after activation, music sounds terrible, but when I came to that part of the song today in the car on the way home from activation, I heard those 4 notes. And I may have teared up a tad. Okay, I burst into sobs, but hey, like I said, I didn't sleep a lot last night, so cut me some slack, okay? Here's another pleasantly surprising observation. When I got properly fit a couple of months ago at the audiology clinic with those loaner hearing aids, they were effective, but I couldn't wait to yank those suckers out of my ears at the end of the day. I feared that the CI would be like that. But for some reason, the novelty of how things sound is interesting. Not in the piercing, annoying way that the hearing aids were. I find myself fascinated with what the keys in my hands sound like and scratching my arm, what that sounds like. Even with the hearing aids, I couldn't hear anything really above, 2K or so. So now my brain is getting sounds from frequencies I haven't heard in years. It's more of a curiosity than it is grating, piercing, annoying. It's like the hearing aids were. I'm told by everybody that it just gets better, and I sure hope that's true. But I end today with reasons to be optimistic about where my hearing will end up. In 2 weeks, I go back for my first mapping session, and that's when my new Link M hearing aid will get activated. I had an ear mold made for it today. It pairs with my cochlear implant, and they'll work seamlessly together with my app for volume and program changes and the like. I expect that to be a real game changer. In the meantime, I'll play with programs and start some formal rehab and get my phone working and set up with Bluetooth and the app and streaming and all that. This morning, I arrived at base camp, but tomorrow I start my way up the mountain. I'll check in along the way to let you know how it's going. Until then, I wish you well, and thanks for listening.